Berlin. As the West tightens its sanctions against Russia, the target appeared to be clear: Russia. But a new study by European economists released on Thursday shows that the West is also paying a hefty price for its sanctions due to retaliatory measures, the inaccessibility of loans, and a more general perception of a loss of trust. As another deadline is approaching for the United States to decide on new sanctions against Russia, it may be worth considering that it is America's allies in Europe that are paying the biggest cost for these measures, according to the German IFW Institute's assessment, which is so far most comprehensive study of the matter. The study says the sanctions resulted in $114 billion worth of lost revenue between early 2014 and the end of 2015, but the pain was shared almost equally between Russia, who lost more than $65 billion, and the United States and European Union, which together sustained more than $50 billion in losses. At least 90% of those lost exports were borne by members of the European Union. In particular, the organization's economic powerhouse is shouldering the lion's share of the losses. Germany accounts for almost 40% of the West's losses, while other geopolitically significant stakeholders such as the United Kingdom, France, and the United States are much less affected, European economists Julian Hines and Matthew Crozet wrote in their study. The EU's continued commitment to the measures is an indication of how serious of a threat its member states perceive Russia to be. The country has been accused of election meddling in the United States as well as in Europe, and its military exercises have raised worries in Eastern and Central Europe. In Scandinavia, a number of nations have taken preemptive measures to defend themselves against the theoretical scenario of a Russian invasion by reintroducing conscription or expanding military bases and shelters. Western sanctions against Russia were agreed to in March 2014 during the crisis in eastern Ukraine, in which Russia actively supported rebels and later annexed the peninsula of Crimea. The move was widely considered to be a violation of international law and of Ukraine's sovereignty. The Russia sanctions have posed a particular dilemma in Germany, however, where lawmakers have attempted to find a balance between seeking to punish Russia while trying to uphold the expansive trade ties between the two countries. Geographically and historically, Germany has long been a closer partner of Russia than any other major European nation. The leadership of the country's formerly communist East maintained close ties to the Soviet Union until German reunification. A significant number of Germans with Russian origins still live in the country's east, where they constitute a major support base for the pro-Russian and far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, party. Geographically, Germany also heavily depends on Russian gas exports, and previous German leaders have considered themselves a political link between the West and the Kremlin. Germans on the left and the far right have always had a weak spot for Moscow, perhaps because the relationship seemed to be on more equal footing than with the US.